Good morning. Welcome to Fibertown. This is episode 176, and it's the 21st of December, 2016. Happy solstice, everyone. Today's the day that begins our Handspun Winter Cal, and I'll be talking a little bit more about that in a minute. So welcome to everyone who is coming back, to new viewers. I know that there are a million podcasts out there, knitting podcasts, other podcasts. I'm just very grateful that you all are here and want to spend some time doing some woolly chat. So thank you for your messages, for your likes on YouTube, for just getting in touch on the Ravelry threads about episodes, about Fleece-wise. So yeah, thank you for being here. This will probably be my last podcast of the year. I'm going under the knife, as they say, for a very minor surgery tomorrow. So wish me luck, and I'll probably just be recuperating the rest of the year. I don't know how much knitting I'll be able to do. We shall see. But as I said, very minor, but just wanted to share that I may be absent for a while. Probably not more than a few weeks, because I like chatting with you guys. So the Comfort Cal is almost over, and if I'm not back in a timely manner for the Comfort Cal drawing, then I will do it on Instagram or notify the person on Ravelry, probably Ravelry. And the winner of that will win a copy of the Ajax Mitts pattern. How beautiful is that? By Sierra Anderson, which would be lovely in some handspun or mill spun. Really gorgeous pattern with cables and really nice lines to it. So, and they will also win, excuse me, a skein of my Handspun, and they have a choice of 3 different skeins. So, excellent. That will be ending in a week or so. And the Handspun Winter Cal, as I said, begins today, and that will run through the first day of spring. And I will open a thread in the Ravelry group. And just, as always, chatter is welcome. I draw chatter sometimes. You don't have to have an FO to win a prize, and there will be prizes. I will show them later. But start posting your planning, your ideas, and it will be a nice source of inspiration for those who aren't sure they want to join in. And please do join in. If you don't have Handspun, there's lots of it available on Etsy. Sometimes local yarn stores will sell some, so check it out. Anything from hats, baby sweaters, adult sweaters, everything is eligible. Yeah, so that's the Handspun Winter. I'm very excited about that. I have lots of Handspun and I want to be knitting it. So this is just a little encouragement for you all to perhaps do the same. So we have FOs, whips, spinning, a Fleece-wise update, and acquisitions today. So finished objects. I have a sweater, and I really this is not the sweater I finished, but I should have this sweater on, but I don't know. I'll just show you it off the needles. It isn't completely blocked. This is a Handspun sweater, and it's from a Fleece spin. Yogurt. It's adorable. Yogurt, you're so cute. Yogurt is Border Leicester Corriedale. And I always forget the third bit of the cross, but you've heard me talk about Yogurt before. And this was a fleece purchased at Maryland Sheep and Wool, I think in 2014. Or maybe it was I think it was 2014. So prepped, spun, and dyed by me, and then knit into this cardigan. And this is the back. Now there is more of Yogurt still, but I ended up, last time we talked, I wasn't sure about the sleeves. I wasn't sure what was going to happen, how I was going to deal with not having enough yarn for full-length sleeves. And I'm very happy with how things turned out. So what happened, as I said, I have more Yogurt that's unspun and undyed. I would never be able to match the dye lot. Let alone perhaps the spinning. So, but here's what I did. So this is a cardie. I used the Tin Can Knits flax sweater numbers, but sort of went rogue after that. So I did a lace back. These are the Smiling Diamonds out of the first Barbara Walker Treasury. And then I did do maybe a few increases too many here. I didn't quite follow the Tin Can Knits pattern. I was really worried for some reason about tight armpits. They're not. Let's see, what else did I do? I didn't increase as much as I should have in the hips. So, but it's fine. It's wearable. I love it. It hits me at the top of the hips, but I can kind of pull that off more than I used to be able to. So I'm very happy. Now the sleeves, these aren't blocked yet. What I did is I weighed the amount of yarn I had left, including my swatch, and I just knit the first sleeve until half of that yarn was gone, and I have a scale that can measure in grams, which is very handy in these situations. So I ended up with a sleeve that hits me right below the elbow, which is kind of where I push my sleeves up to when I'm doing things. So I knit the second sleeve the very same, decreasing a few places as my arm got smaller. And then I took this Spanish yarn, it's a Katia wool blend, and I attached an I-cord. So instead of having, to use a lot of my handspun to do ribbing or whatever finish I was going to, I just did I-cord. And it looks more contrasty on screen than it does in real life, the difference between the two. And I didn't join the I-cord. See that? I figured it's going to be under my arm, and why not have a little extra give there anyway? So I have this little split under each sleeve. So this was steeked. I knit it in the round. This was my very first steek, actually. Let me put it right side out. So I folded it, I steeked it, I folded it. Oh, I also did I-cord edging for the neck. And I kind of love how it looks because you can see my cast on right here for the neck. So you've got this sort of double edge here, the cast on edge and then the I-cord. So I used, for tacking down the steek, isn't that pretty? I used ribbon from Claire at the Woolly Thistle. I'm not sure if she still carries ribbon, but she did used to carry ribbon, and it's these gorgeous little elephants. So I tacked down both sides, and I quite like the look of it. It's a very nice finished edge. There we go, there's one side. And then the I-cord at the neckline kind of pops out a wee bit. I really love it. So you will see this on me at some point. I will model it on Instagram, no doubt, as I take project pictures. So that is off the needles. And at the end of the calendar year, I really love to get things off the needles. So that feels good. I literally just finished everything, the finishing this morning. And then you've seen these before. These are mitts for a dear friend, a very knit-worthy friend. And these are gauntlets of my own design out of Lollipop Yarns. I love them. Here's the second one. This friend loves rainbows like no one loves rainbows. You may think you love rainbows, and maybe you love them as much as she does, but she is a true rainbow lover. So these will go to her eventually. I'm knitting her one other thing. I may just send these along because she needs to start wearing them. So yeah, these are going to Oregon. And that was a Lollipop Beefcake base in the Rainbow Connection colorway. So the last FO is a dress. And this has not gotten all of the threads clipped and all of that jazz, but I finished my lined wool dress. This is an Anna dress. And again, last time we spoke, there were some things going on with this dress. And what I ended up doing, and they mainly related to the zipper and me changing the size. Oh, great, now I have some threads caught in the zipper. Me changing this, the size of the bodice related to the skirt, having a bigger skirt than bodice. And what I ended up doing was taking the zipper out, and I put it in by hand. And it came out pretty well, I think. This is I used an overlocker foot on my machine for the very first time. And as I said, it's still got lots of threads. And I'm very, very pleased with how that worked. So it's not a serger, but it's a foot that helps you use a zigzag stitch to truly overlock the edges. You can see my hand-picked zipper stitches right there. My hand sewing needs work, but it's functional. Anyway, the zipper is not completely invisible as it was last time as well, but it zips up. It doesn't get, doesn't get caught. The stitching wasn't too close to the teeth, as it always is when I sew using an invisible zipper foot. No matter how well I think I use the foot, I always get too close. And then it just doesn't zip well. So I need to model, this dress. I'm very proud of it. It's very librarian, like sexy librarian. I have no idea when I'll wear it because that's not really my look, but I wanted to make this dress, and I did. So what am I wearing? This is the Threshold sweater by Melanie Berg, and it's out of Hazelnut's Artisan Sock in the quill colorway. I got this at Fiberspace when she sells, she does a show there around Maryland Sheep and Wool time, and she sells big wheels. So, and they're each 800 yards. So this is my quill sweater. And I'm really liking this a lot more than I initially did. I really have an issue with drop shoulder sweaters, especially when there's texture, because this is a big area for a lot of people, you know, biceps being as muscly as they are. And just, it seems like it draws attention to your upper arm. So I can see how this style is not ideal for a lot of people, but it's grown on me a little bit. You know, the boxy has that as well. It's drop-shouldered. Well, hello! It's drop-shouldered. She's convinced I have food up here, which I don't. Sometimes she'll just pop right into your lap. Yes, the boxy by Joji Locatelli has that drop-shouldered with a garter stitch, and I don't care for it. That's neither here nor there. I've been wearing this sweater, and it just reminds me how much I love fingering weight sweaters, and they are a commitment, but they are super worth it. And since it's you know, winter vacation, people are home and they're coming in the house now. So Alice might have to go greet them. Who's that, Al? The boy's back? Oh, she knows who it is. Did you see the ears go back? She doesn't even need to go greet them. Hi, guys. So this is weird podcasting with people listening. Nobody likes that. Go away quickly. All right, so Alice. Yeah, that's your name. Have you been good this year? Is Santa gonna bring you stuff? Is he gonna bring you a big cookie? Ooh, would you like that? Would you like that, little darling? All right, little Alice. You go down now, okay? Bye-bye. All right, so speaking of fingering weight sweaters, my Lovage sweater is right here next to me, and it hasn't been touched in a while. This is by Marie Wallen, totally inspired by the Fruity Knitting podcast. And here it is. Nothing new has happened. I did do a little steam on a part of it to see if I liked how the color work was behaving once it was steamed. Where did I do it? Maybe here? This section here? I don't think I'm going to rip it back. I don't think I'm going to rip it back. What a nightmare that would be. But I think it's going to come out just fine. It's a little ripply still, like from, this is the area that I steamed. And I think I'm going to keep going. I don't think I'm going to change the green yarn. I would have to come back, rip back to here if I did that. And then I think the green yarn is too bright. The new green, potential green replacement. So that's the Lovage. I need to pick that up again. What I've really been knitting on a lot is a design project. And I'm not going to show that, but I have 2 hose for the design project completed. So that's been getting a lot of attention. And then the other thing I've been working on is my mitered square blanket. And I decided to do an Advent square thing, a little knit along with myself. So I'm going to show you what I've knit. This one, I need to take this sewing pin out of it. Here we go. Isn't that pretty? I think this was from Spicy Homemaker. Melissa. Hi, Melissa. And this is Bohemia Fibers. I don't know what the rest are, but I'm going to show you everything I've put on here. This one, I think this is Handspun. This one is Handspun and hand-dyed by me. It's a Romney. I know that much about it. This one is also Handspun, hand-dyed by me. This is Potions Class by Hobbledehoy. Okay, this one, don't know what that one is, but yeah, that's just that one. Now I'm going to lose track if I don't start over here. Also this, I think this is from Granny Sheep. This is one of her Corriedales. That's great yarn. This is Handspun by me. This came with my Golding spindle that I got at Rhinebeck this year. This is Inglenook Fibers, and this is Empire Apple, and there was just enough with this tiny batling to knit a square. This is another one. This is Bad Egg, and I did some weaving with the rest of this. That's Lammy Toes. Great speckled yarn. Showed you that one. Showed you these three. That one. What else do we have? I've done one every day, so what is today? I have 21 squares. This is some other Handspun by me. I think this is Space Cadet. What else? What else? Oh, these two. This was my Pincha. This is, oh goodness, another Crafty Girl. Love it in the Gamut colorway. And then this one. I need to take an Instagram picture and just do an update. And sorry, I hope that didn't pause. So my blanket, you can see on Instagram, I spread it out and took a picture. I think I'm due for another big square soon, somewhere. It's very cozy. So I don't know when it'll get knit on again after this, but it's been kind of perfect for knitting at night when you're watching something on Netflix and you need something easy. I used the Shelly Kang recipe. It was one of the first ones where it's all diamond shaped. I love it. I believe I'm around 350 squares, maybe a little under that. So, and I've been working on that since my first, I was going to say my first Rhinebeck, but I'm not sure if that was, it's 2 years old. I started it October 2014, so I would say, give it another 4 and it'll be done. Just judging at the rate I'm going. So what else do I have to show you? I have spinning. I have finished a bit of a big spin, and it's been going on for quite a while. This is Rambouillet, 100% Rambouillet from Rockland's Farm in Pennsylvania. Prize-winning fleeces and shepherdess. And I totaled the yardage. Let me tell you what it is. Just really glad to have this done. And I'm thinking about plans for it. Go to my notes. I have 1,908 yards of a 3-ply worsted prep woolen spun. And I know a lot of people have difficulty spinning woolen from combed top. And it's just become my default. I don't know how. Alice, stop it. She's desperate for food today. I do feed my dog. She's just, anyway. It's just pretty yarn. A 3-ply, it's very poofy. Rambouillet has got to be among the springiest wools out there. It's a short staple, fine wool. It's otherwise known as French merino. Yeah, it's spongy, it's springy, and I think it's going to be fairly strong. I do the singles on my second smallest whorl, and I ply on my smallest whorl. Because it's got a woolen spin, a long draw, it needs the structure of a tighter ply twist. So almost 2,000 yards. I think it has to have cables. You know, a 3-ply, springy, great, you know, stitch definition potentially. I need to swatch, don't I? But I might want to dye it. I might want to do a natural dye on it. Because I don't think I want a white sweater. What else? So yeah, my spinning method, you know, I get Ply Magazine. I understand why it's interesting to read about the technical aspects, but I just kind of glaze over after a little bit of that. And so I end up letting, you know, it's a long draw in that, my method, in that I let twist into the drafting zone. But I tend to keep my fiber supply hand far away from the wheel, and I kind of just, it goes in as, you know, I don't treadle too fast. And if the single needs a little help getting moved along, you know, traditional like full-on long draw, you only use one hand and then you feed it back on. And that's better with a woolen prep. But since I'm using combed top, I do occasionally have to help it along. But this is kind of how I spin. And I find it really lovely. And I find I can make a nice yarn with it. So that's the spinning for this week. I do have an upcoming handspun project. This is hobbledehoy batlings that I'm going to knit mitts, striping the clouds and the rainbows. That will be a gift. So, fleece-wise, let's do a little talk about that. So I spun my bit of Shetland, my Eloise fleece that I bought with Fiber Trek and Yarns at Yin-Hoo and New Hampshire Knits. And we bought our fleece at Rhinebeck, and it's been a lovely, you know, that whole thing was a lovely experience. We all did a podcast about the farm to yarn process, and now we are taking, you know, putting all of those things into practice, as well as knitting something with our resulting yarns. And I found myself, you know, I dealt with my part of Eloise really quickly. I brought it home. I washed it very minimally. I spun it in my usual way. Did I card it or comb? I think I carded it. See, I did it so fast, I didn't document the process, which I'm kicking myself about. And yeah, so I have this, you know, 2 gorgeous skeins of probably around 500 or 600 yards. I have it written down somewhere, of Shetland. And I somehow came out of the process with 2 skeins of Shetland yarn and this kind of negative feeling. And I wasn't able to really place why I was feeling this way. Like there was something missing. And I think, you know, there was just something not quite right. And then I watched Claire from New Hampshire Knits sort of dig into her process, and she's a newer spinner and fleece processor, and she's doing these great things with it, and you know, she's hand carding rologs, and she's going to spin them on a great wheel, and I just really kind of love watching what she's doing, and the other 2 ladies as well. I know that Yarns at Yin-Hoo is putting all her amazing knowledge about the fleece to yarn process into what she's doing, and doing it very thoughtfully. And then Sarah of Fiber Trek is doing her whole, like, you know, I think she's spinning in the grease. I've tried not to, you know, get me too influenced by what she's doing, because I do find that I am influenced by a lot of Sarah's ideas. But it was one of Sarah's ideas that sort of made me sort of re-examine why I felt that way about this part of the Fleecewise process. And she really connects to the land through the wool. And I realized that's what was kind of missing for me in this project. I can't remember if this wool came from New York or Connecticut. It was one of the two, or maybe it was Massachusetts. And then we were trying to learn more about the shepherdess who raised it, and it dawned on me that that's what's missing for me. And that sense of terroir that I've been talking about, that you know, how the various aspects of the land impact the wool, from the soil to sheep breed that thrives in that particular environment, you know, to the things they eat. So that idea of terroir that I've talked about before was somehow missing, and that's that connection to things, you know, things in our daily life that connect us back to something simpler. And I say simpler, but in reality, it's quite complex, isn't it? So, however, you know, take it easy, right? It's not a big deal. It's wool. And then I realized that the other thing that's so valuable for me, and that, you know, I don't have to have this great epiphany with the wool. My connection in this case has really been to the people I'm doing it with. So, you know, just loving watching. I'm a teacher at heart. I want to share things I've learned, because what's the point if you don't do that? So I just love watching Claire go through her first time doing this, and that kind of tickles me. And then seeing how my other friends are approaching it as well has really been inspiration. And I think that Shetland yarn will sit for a while until I feel, until the inspiration comes to me, probably from them, about what I'm going to do with that yarn. So yeah, I feel like I've thunk it through, as it were, and yeah, we'll see what the next step brings. Okay, so let's move along to acquisitions, and then I will say goodbye. Sarah, my other friend Sarah, I have a lot of Sarah friends. She gave me a wonderful holiday gift. Oh, and she gave me a bracelet too, but that's in my jewelry box. This is yarn. I think I was with her at Maryland Sheep and Wool when she bought this, and it has been, she was destashing, and I said, ooh, I love that bug juice. I've always loved the bug juice colorway. It's a superwash merino nylon blend, but that name just does it for me. So, oh, bug jar, not bug juice. Bug juice is a thing, like if you go to camp, there is bug juice. So this is spun right round, and bug jar is the colorway. And have you guys seen, I'm sure you've seen Find Your Fade. I'm tempted. I know it'd be crazy to knit a 1,500 yard shawl, but I'm tempted. So I haven't yet gone to my stash and laid out colorways, but I do have a lot of, you know, one-off superwash merino-ish skeins that would be great to use in that kind of thing. Now, the Woolly Thistle, I requested a gift card for, for Christmas, sorry, because there's always something I want. And the latest thing was Croft 29, genuine Hebridean wool from the Isle of Skye. And I will have to look up an Instagram photo of where this wool comes from, because seriously, guys, I first saw Croft 29 Hebridean wool in the blanket I put together for Sarah for doing her Shackleton along. And talk about yarn that is evocative of a place, okay? This is, I mean, there was a square that Claire knit up in this wool in the blanket, and it's just got character, and it's beautiful, and I think mitts, maybe mittens, will be knit out of this. So if you don't follow Croft29 on Instagram, I highly, highly recommend that you do. Isle of Skye, and I It's in the Hebrides, I think. Is that right? And there's a particular picture I just need to pull up. Here it is. This is where this wool comes from. Croft 29. Let me see if I can enlarge that. Probably not. Nope. Just astounding. So Bornaskataig Kilnweir. So how is that for like Nordic, a Nordic place name? Thank you, Willie Thistle, for getting all the good things. Now, acquisitions. I also have some gifts from lovely friends. Lori Intuit Knit sent me this. This is handmade, and it's a needle case for, you know, putting your embroidery needles through the felt. And this is very lightly fold. Look at these tweeds. Look at this one. Love it. Thank you, Lori. And I did a swap with Sally, who is SOKY knitter, Southern Kentucky knitter. I call her, you know, this looks like Saki knitter. And amongst other things, I'm just going to show you a few things that came along with these minis. And this one's Handspun Into the World. Beautiful, beautiful. Which colorway? Follow the Butterflies. And this is gorgeous Kool-Aid dyed Handspun, Corriedale. Still smells kind of fruity. Beautiful peachy color. This will have to be knit into something special as well. Now I'm super excited about these Portuguese knitting pins that she sent along. So these pin somewhere to your lapel or your collar, and you tension your yarn through them. So I need to research how to use these. I've always been curious. So looking around me, that's all I've got. Put your comfort cal things in the thread. I will pull it at a future date for that, and start with your Handspun Winter stuff in the Rav group. And hashtag it Handspun Winter on Instagram too. That would be lovely. So, okay friends, it's been a year, and it will have been 4 years in January that I've started this podcast. So I'm still happy to be here doing this with you all, and I do really appreciate it when you get in touch. So I hope to hear from you, and I'll see you in 2017. Bye-bye. Take care.